Season 8 with Mauga as the new tank is here on December 5th, but we have the patch notes a day early. Come to my stream at twitch.tv/carq as well for your Season 8 drops and get the Echo skin for the supporter streamer program, and let's jump into the changes for the holiday season. Let's start with an overall game update. They're changing the maximum ultimate charge preserved on hero swap from 25% to 15%. That's a big change. The devs comment that swapping heroes is fundamental to the gameplay of Overwatch, and this ultimate charge refund mechanic has done a great job of decreasing friction there. It has helped matches feel less one-sided as it functions as a soft comeback mechanic. However, it has also helped reinforce the perception that it's almost always an advantage to counter swap upon dying, which ideally isn't always true and requires some consideration due to how powerful ultimate abilities can be. We are reducing the amount of ult charge preserved by a significant amount in order to see if the increased cost of switching meaningfully impacts player behavior, while retaining the benefits the mechanic provides. Moving on to hero patch notes, we have tanks. Doomfist, his Meteor Strike ultimate now regenerates 75 health per second while in the air. You can stay in the air for a maximum of 4 seconds, so you can recover up to 300 HP now. That's a huge buff to it. However, the ultimate cost is going to be increased by 16%. The devs comment that one of the most effective uses for an ultimate ability like Meteor Strike is to save it as an escape in order to grab a health pack instead of using it against his foes. Doomfist will now recover health during the targeting phase so that it can be used more offensively. For Junker Queen, the scattergun spread is going to be reduced by 8%. The devs comment that tightening the spread on Junker Queen's scattergun will make it more effective at ranges against small targets and give her slightly more teamfight presence before fully committing to getting in close to the enemy team. Mauga is here, and he was playable about a month ago, and people playtested him for about 3 days over the BlizzCon weekend, and they found out he was kind of weak, so they've already buffed him a significant amount. Let's go through them. First, his base health is being reduced from 500 to 350, but instead is being replaced with 150 armor, so that goes from 0 to 150. His head hit volume, basically the hitbox around his head, is also reduced by 15%, which makes it harder for the enemies to headshot you. That's another big buff. His passive Berserker, the overhealth conversion rate is being increased from 40% to 50%. Now for the incendiary and volatile chain guns, the spread for firing both guns is being reduced by 15%. The fire rate multiplier for firing both guns at the same time is being reduced from 25% to 0%. The damage per shot is being increased from 4.5 to 5. The damage fall off range is increased from 25 to 30 meters. That's a buff. That means your damage won't start scaling down until further away. The maximum ammo is also being increased from 300 to 350, and his movement speed penalty is being reduced from 20% to 15% per gun. That's a buff. It means you can move a little bit quicker while firing. Overrun can no longer be interrupted by hack, and the damage reduction while running is increased from 30% to 50%. Finally, for his cardiac overdrive ability, the lifesteal is being increased from 60 to 70%. The devs said that we've got a lot of constructive feedback from players when Mauga was available to try during his free preview weekend, so we've adjusted his kit for his official launch to give him the ability to last longer in a fight. For Ramattra, they're replacing 100 of his base white health to 100 armor instead. His Void Accelerator projectile size is being increased from 0.075 to 0.10 meters. It's thicker, it means it's easier to hit, and its damage is being increased from 4.5 to 5 per projectile. The devs comment that Ramattra is quite powerful during his Nemesis form, though his base Omnic form may be too easy to ignore for a tank hero. We're adding some power there to even out the trade-offs between the two forms, with the Omnic form having better range damage while Nemesis form's pummel can pierce enemy defenses. Sigma, a slight nerf here to his experimental barrier where the regeneration rate is being reduced from 100 to 85 health per second. The devs comment that Sigma has very effective defensive options between his experimental barrier and kinetic grasp. The barrier regeneration is being reduced in order to create more opportunity to attack Sigma directly. For Winston, his Tesla cannon weapon now ignores armor damage reduction. The devs comment that this is a special property for the Tesla cannon intended to increase Winston's effectiveness against other tanks with large armor health pools. He still won't specialize in dealing with tanks since his singular target damage output is low, but it will be less of an extreme disadvantage. Onto the DPS. For Mei, her endothermic blaster maximum ammo is being reduced from 150 to 120. The devs comment that we're reducing the max ammo to limit how long Mei is able to continuously slow an enemy target now that the primary fire deals more damage. Good nerfs. Soldier 76, the biotic field cooldown is being increased from 15 to 18 seconds. The devs comment that Soldier's self-sustain ability is potent and makes him difficult to deal with while he's in its area. Rather than reduce its raw healing output again, we're increasing the amount of time between consecutive uses to open up longer periods of vulnerability. For Sombra, the EMP, big buff here where the ability lockout duration, aka the silencing part, is increased from 1.5 to 3 seconds before you can use anything. The damage is being reduced though from 30% to 25% of current health. The devs comment that the 1.5 second lockout duration originally didn't feel impactful enough for an ultimate ability, but generally, EMP is more interesting and effective when it's focused on the disabling aspect rather than the damage. For Torbjorn, his overload, the overhealth that he gets from it, is being increased from 75 to 100. The devs comment that the health decrease on overload severely impacted Torb's overall effectiveness, so we're actually reverting that change. For Tracer, her damage is being increased from 5.5 to 6 per bullet. The devs comment that the damage value has been changed a few times over the course of Overwatch 2 and is now back to Tracer's original damage. It was previously adjusted due to a couple of bugs with the pulse pistol fall-off range and spread being much better than they should have. Now on to support. Baptiste, the biotic launcher primary fire ammo is being reduced from 45 to 36. That means he's going from 15 shots to 12 shots because you shoot 3-round bursts. Quick maths. Devs comment that Baptiste has a high amount of sustained damage in addition to his various survival tools. We would prefer to keep his long cooldown abilities feeling impactful, so we're going to be pulling back on some of his damage potential here. Brig, the whip shot damage is being reduced from 80 to 70. The devs comment that Brig ended up being the best performing support hero in the game by a fair margin since the last patch. It's likely a result of more than just the damage breakpoint change that she received, but it was a significant increase to her offense, so we're reverting it and we'll continue to evaluate further. For Kiriko, the healing Ofuda projectile speed is being increased from 14 to 18 meters per second, so at least it can reach its target a little bit quicker. The protection Suzu, the invulnerability duration itself, is being reduced from 0.85 to 0.65 seconds. However, the healing explosion is being increased from 40 to 80 health. And the change from a few seasons ago meant that if you Suzu'd while under a negative status effect, you would heal another 30 HP. So that means your healing explosion is 80 health normally and can go up to 110 health if you Suzu a burn or a poison or an anti-nade. The devs comment that reducing the protection Suzu invulnerability time further will help it feel less frustrating to play against, but still enable it to have big playmaking moments, although with a stricter timing requirement. To counterbalance that power loss, we're making Kiriko's healing more reliable. For Mercy, activating Valkyrie no longer disconnects Caduceus staff from its target. That's a huge quality of life buff. The devs comment that this is just a small quality of life improvement, oh, that's what I just said, to help keep Mercy healing or powering up her allies without penalty for activating her ultimate. That's it for the balance changes specifically. There's also a lot of bug fixes. I'm not going to go through them all, but there is one of them that has in-game implications, which is the Sombra virus through Baptiste's amplification matrix. This is what it used to do. Really not a big difference, but now they fixed it. So virus effectively does do double damage for everything, like so. Yep, if you receive no healing and a Sombra fires it through BAP window, you're dead, kid. New in Season 8 is extra reticle settings for heroes with multiple weapons, so the following heroes now have new options. We have Ana, Ashe, Bastion, Lifeweaver, Mercy, Ramattra, and Widowmaker. So now you can use a small circle for Ramattra's Omnic Void Accelerator, and then swap to a big circle for his Pummel Punches, for example. For the map changes, there's supposed to be a holiday decorations to the following maps: Paraiso, New Queen Street, and Watchpoint Gibraltar, but they weren't loaded in the early access server I had, so you'll have to wait till tomorrow to see it. The new morning lighting for Antarctica was available though, so this is what it looks like. And that's it for the hero and balance side of things. The fun stuff this season is the Battle of the Beasts Grand Beasts 4v4 PvPvE game mode, the Winter Wonderland 2023 event, which launches on Tuesday, December 19th for these challenges and holiday skins. The new Hero Mastery courses on January 2nd, 2024 are available for Lucio for the first week, then one new one for every week after for Mei, Diva, Echo, and Genji, and I think that's all. See you on my Twitch stream for those free cosmetic drops.